Dad, there's a man outside aiming a taser at me. I froze when I heard my son's voice on the phone. Calm, steady, but with a dangerous undertone. Don't panic. I'll deal with it, but you may want to get home before this escalates. I bolted out of my office, leaving behind confused coworkers. We'd only lived in Brookhaven Meadows for 3 weeks. The brochure promised safety, beauty, and community. What it didn't say was that the neighborhood HOA was run by men who thought they were running their own private militia, and they had just threatened the wrong family. My name is Daniel Reed, Fair 48 corporate tax consultant. After years of city noise, I'd finally bought my dream home in a quiet suburb. Wide lawns, colonial-style houses, a lake nearby. Everything screamed perfect. The realtor mentioned an active HOA. I dealt with HOAs before. Annoying, yes, but manageable. Or so I thought. The first knock on my door should have been a warning. A thin man in a polo shirt introduced himself as Mark Delaney, HOA vice president. He handed me a 3-inch binder filled with community regulations. He smiled, but his eyes were cold. We enforce rules very seriously here. Please review this. It saves misunderstandings. The way he said misunderstandings made my stomach tighten. Inside the binder were pages of absurd rules. No cars parked in driveways overnight. All curtains must be white or beige. Fines starting at $100 for non-compliant landscaping. And the kicker, the HOA reserves the right to access properties to inspect for compliance. That was flat out illegal. But I let it slide, at least for the moment. A week later, my son Alex flew in to stay with me. 26 years old, ex-Army Ranger turned private security contractor. To neighbors, he was just a polite young man visiting his dad. What they didn't know: he'd survived combat tours, hostage rescues, and black site missions. Calm under fire didn't begin to describe him. On his second morning, we were sipping coffee on the porch when a woman in her 60s approached. Short, sharp eyes behind large glasses. "You must be Daniel and Alex," she said warmly. "I'm Margaret, the neighborhood's resident gossip, or so our HOA president calls me." She leaned closer. "Watch your back." The man running this HOA, Victor Hale, ex-military officer, retired under questionable circumstances. Now he treats this community like his personal base, and his enforcer mark follows every order. I laughed it off then, but Margaret's warning would soon prove dead serious. That evening, I found a bright yellow slip taped to my garage. Violation: trash cans visible from street, $200 fine. Except my trash cans were behind my fence. "This is extortion," I muttered. Alex studied the slip. "Dad, see this signature? It's not even HOA. It's signed Neighborhood Security Chief." That's not a real title. The very next day, things escalated. Alex caught Mark and another man installing a motion sensor on our property line without permission. When Alex confronted them, the man smirked, tapped the gun on his hip, and said, "Safety inspection. HOA approved." That night, Alex set up hidden cameras. By morning, we had footage of men in security uniforms patrolling our yard with flashlights, circling like wolves. At the HOA meeting the following week, I saw just how deep it went. 40 residents sat silently while Victor Hale, tall, scarred, with the posture of a drill sergeant, barked orders like a commander addressing troops. Anyone who questioned fees or fines was cut off. One man, a father of 3, asked why HOA dues had doubled. Victor leaned forward and growled, "Security costs. If you don't like it, the market's hot. Sell and leave." Fear kept everyone quiet. When I raised my hand, Hale's eyes locked on me. I calmly listed the illegal rules in the binder, citing state property law. The room went dead silent. Hale's jaw clenched. Then he smiled. "Interesting. Mr. Reed thinks he's smarter than the system. But in Brookhaven, we don't argue with the rules. We enforce them." The threat was clear. After the meeting, Mark brushed past Alex and muttered, "Hope you two like camping. Heard your power grid's fragile." Sure enough, the next day our electricity was cut for emergency maintenance. But we weren't alone anymore. Margaret introduced us to 2 other residents, Jamal, an IT engineer, and Elena, a retired cop. Both had been targeted before: mysterious property damage, trumped-up fines, harassment. They'd been documenting everything but lacked proof strong enough to fight back. That's where Alex came in. Within a week, he had compiled camera footage of Victor and Mark taking cash from shady contractors, issuing fake fines, and even threatening residents at night. He cross-referenced property sales and discovered a pattern. Every family forced out sold their homes dirt cheap to the same investment group tied to Victor's cousin. It wasn't just HOA harassment. It was a real estate scam worth millions. The final straw came when Alex intercepted two of Victor's men trespassing on our porch, marking our door with red chalk. Target, Alex guessed. That night, Victor himself showed up at my driveway. You've been busy, Reed. Stirring up trouble, making friends you shouldn't. This neighborhood doesn't need lawyers or soldiers. It needs discipline. Alex stepped forward, calm but with steel in his voice. You picked the wrong house. The fight wasn't over. But for the first time, Victor Hale realized his intimidation game had met an enemy who knew how to